Julia, and you are dead on with all of that. The Astros, Blummer, come in having lost 2 or 5 out of 7 on that recent homestand. But like you say, there's nothing to hang their heads about. It's not been about lack of effort, anything like that. The Astros have played hard, and they've come up shy here at the end.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. They had so many things working against them early on. We talked about April, how tough that was. You lose parts of their starting rotation, and then you add in what the Texas Rangers did to the Houston Astros all year long. Unable to figure that out, but yet we were still talking about them even with 3 more days to go in the season. It's just unfortunate that they gave it everything they had. It was just came up too short, too late.
And these LA Angels of Anaheim, a team that has not played well on the year, however recently playing very well. They come in having won 3 straight, sweeping away the Oakland A's, and they've won 7 of 8. But on the season, the Astros have had their way with these Angels, 12-4 over the course of the 16 games. They'll play 3 more now to wrap it all up, or wrap it out, and tonight game 160 on their season. And now the Astros starting lineup provided by Southwest Airlines. That lineup for the Astros tonight: George Springer back in the top spot, followed by left fielder Marwin Gonzalez and Jose Altuve. Carlos Correa will bat 4th. He's the shortstop at 3rd. Yuli Gurriel, and A.J. Reed gets a start at first base. Bottom 3 in right field: Teoscar Hernandez, Jason Castro behind the plate, and Jake Marisnick is in center.
On the mound for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim will be Daniel Wright. Started out with the Cincinnati Reds, claimed off of waivers by the Los Angeles Angels, and some interesting numbers on him. He became the 15th different starting pitcher this season for the Angels. And he's also the 55th different player to be on this roster for the Angels. So kind of an interesting setup for him. He's going to be making his 7th start here with the Angels. Lefty's hitting .393 against him. Pitches to contact.
Last time out for Daniel Wright. That came against the Astros on that recent 4-game series that saw the Angels take 3 of the 4. He pitched fairly well, 6 innings, 7 hits, and 3 runs against him, but wound up taking the loss. And so he is set to go. He'll face George Springer, who is riding a 9-game hitting streak coming in. George Springer has been swinging the bat well, utilizing right field quite a bit. And we are set to go here in game 160 as that first offering is below the knees. 7:08 on that first pitch. Wright made his major league debut with Cincinnati May 24th at Dodger Stadium. Ball's behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Wound up taking the loss in that game, working 5 1/3 and allowed 4 earned runs. Springer on the 90-mile-an-hour heater on a 2-0 swings through it.
Fastball at 90 for Wright. Has a changeup, curveball, slider. Ash talking about that fastball. The hitters are hitting .443 off that pitch.
Just doesn't have the extra gear to turn to. Brings a little cutter and misses. They appeal the swing, and no swing. Umpires tonight: Dan Iasanya behind the plate, Lance Barrett you just saw down at first. At second, Bob Davidson, and Dale Scott, the crew chief, is at 3rd. So it's 3-1. Good hitter's count for George as he pops it on the left side. Shallow into left field. Coming on is Choi, and he'll make the catch. First out of the evening.
Left fielder, number 9, Marwin Gonzalez.
We'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez, getting a start tonight in left field. Marwin hitting .254 on the year, a career-high 13 homers while driving in 51. Marwin's played very well. Most of his work coming at first base, but such a great utility player. He's hit safely in his last 3. Good swing as he fouls it back. Marwin went 2 for 4 Wednesday. Of course, yesterday an off day for the club. And that Wednesday game against Seattle, he's hit safely in 8 of his last 10. And 6 RBIs over his last 6 games played. And though you may not think of Marwin as a first baseman, the prototypical guy, his .438 slugging percentage as a first baseman, highest for an Astros first baseman since Lance Berkman, who went much higher at .509. But Gives you an idea how well he has played, not only with the glove, but with the bat as well. He pops it up on the left side. Shortstop Simmons calling. And makes the catch. 2 outs. It'll bring up Jose Altuve, the league leading hitter.
Second baseman, number 27, Jose Altuve.
Altuve comes in at 337. Closest pursuer at 320. And Altuve also leads the league in hits, just 1 in front. He's at 212 in that hits column. He's got some numbers to seek. 24 home runs. He'd love to get to 25. 96 RBIs. And obviously would love to pick up 100. Mookie Betts is second in the league at 320, followed by Dustin Pedroia. Mike Trout right here with the Angels. Trout's got some numbers he would like to get to as well. Popped up shallow into right field. Coming on, Calhoun. 3 easy fly balls, 3 outs in the first inning. As Wright runs through it, 1-2-3. Scoreless after a half. LA Angels of Anaheim. Mike Scioscia, their longtime skipper, lines them up. Thusly, Cole Calhoun in the top spot. He's been a red-hot hitter. Followed by one of the league leaders in numerous categories, Mike Trout. He's the DH tonight. Got drilled in the left shoulder just the other night. C.J. Cron bats third. At third base, Jeffrey Marte. Andrelton Simmons has had a nice year. He's at shortstop doing the catching, Jeff Bandy. Or Jet Bandy, rather. Bottom 3, Rafael Ortega in center. At second base, Caleb Cowart. And Ji-Man Choi is in left.
Brad Peacock making another start for these Houston Astros. You see it be his 5th start. He's having a very good September. 2.25 ERA. No record to show in that, but has 16 punch-outs in 20 innings. What's good to see with Brad since coming back is the K per 9 is up and the walks per 9 is down.
First pitch, a fastball at 91, fouled back. Calhoun has hit safely in 6 straight. Swinging a dangerous bat, 18 dingers on the year, driving in 73, and a 304 mark with 8 RBIs against the Astros this year. 13 hits now in his last 18 at bats. He takes a good curveball. No balls, 2 strikes. Prior to this 11 for 18 streak for Calhoun, he was 4 for 26, so he was actually mired in a deep slump. Curveball got him. So Brad Peacock comes out, delivers strikes on the first 3 pitches, gets a strikeout, and out number 1.
Peacock showing command early. You see the pitches on our end. Anderson strike zone. Good late break on that breaking ball to get a swing and miss. And a guy who's been swinging the bat pretty well of late.
And now it's Mike Trout. Generally the center fielder for the Angels. Down to the final 3 days. He's got some numbers he would like to reach. And you can see his ranking in the American League in a number of categories. He's first in on-base percentage. That's due in good part to the fact that he leads the league in walks with 113. He swung the bat very well, hitting .318. That's fourth best in the league. And 99 RBIs. And like a couple of Astros who would love to get to 100, you know that Mike Trout has that same notion. He's one home run shy of 30 for his season. 1 year ago, Mike Trout slammed 41 long balls. .441 on base percentage for Trout.
It's not a bad location.
Pretty good looking pitch. It's 3 balls and a strike on a guy who is hard to get strike calls on. Breaking ball fouled back. That'll fill it. The 113 walks we talked about, leading the league.
Good location just on that outer third.
The 3-2 to Trout, and he draws the walk, number 114 on his year. He just continues to get on base.
First baseman, number 24.
Yeah, leading the league with that .441 on base percentage coming into this ball game. Pretty impressive.
5-time All-Star at first base. And one of the other numbers that I'm sure he would like to push, and we might see him running 27 stolen bases. So does he make a push to get to 30? One out, C.J. Cron at the plate. He's hit safely in his last 6. And again, the Angels playing well in that span. They've won 7 of 8. And yet the Angels overall 72 and 87. They're 22 games back as we start play tonight. The Astros 83 and 76. If the Astros were to win all 3 games now that they have remaining, they could match last year's win total at 86. Hit in the air down the left field side, and that will drop untouched on the warning track. Marwin Gonzalez realized he couldn't get to it and just backed off. 0-2 the count on Cron. Fifth major league start now this year for Brad Peacock, and his 10th overall appearance for the Astros. Right off the end of the bat, squib foul. C.J. Cron, plenty of home run power. 16 long balls, 69 runs driven in. A.J. Reed holding down at first base on Mike Trout. Fastball thrown by. It's a foul tip hung on to by Jason Castro. Second out, a couple of strikeouts for Peacock already. Brings up the cleanup man, Jeffrey Marte.
Good command early. I know he walked Mike Trout, but that was more a process of trying to get Trout to fish a little bit, pardon the pun, but showed a good fastball late in a 2-strike count. 93 miles an hour on that heater.
So Marte at the plate. There goes Trout. The throwdown is late on a hop, and Trout picks up stolen base number 28. And so as we took a guess, Mike Trout may be in that mindset to steal a couple more bags now. Try to get to 30 on his year.
Tough pitch for Jason Castro to throw on, but yeah, Mike Trout staring that 30-30 season right in the eyes right now.
Because he needs 2 more bags, 1 more long ball. There goes Trout to third base. Big jump, the throw down, not in time, close, as Jason Castro made a really good throw.
Yeah, Jason's looking around in amazement because that ball got there clearly before Mike Trout got there. But Yuli Gurriel, maybe with the swipe tag, missed the front arm of Mike Trout.
Well, that is close.
Seen a lot more guys diving in and pulling back with that left hand, reaching with the right.
Well, if this play remains a safe call, that's number 29 in the stolen base category. And so Mike Trout accomplishes one of those number columns very quickly here.
Is he going to steal home?
Well, he won't have to worry about any more bags. Take care of all that business in the first inning of game 1. Brad Peacock misses down and away. 3 balls and no strikes.
He's looking in the Angel dugout right now. I guarantee you there's some guys in that dugout harping on him right now saying, you got to take home.
You know, the oddity is when you see a player of Trout's kind of category, and I'm really talking through the years because there aren't many guys like that or haven't been, but he could do almost anything he wants to do on a given night. Strike is called. We have 3-1. The scoreboard has 2-2, so we'll see. There it goes, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Peacock works from the stretch. And now it is filled. Andrelton Simmons, the shortstop, waits on deck. And there's Simmons, fine shortstop, really slick defensively. And he's had a nice year with the bat as well. Marte, 13 home runs. Played some left field as well. Now stays filled. For Brad Peacock, he's allowed 3 earned runs or less in each of his last 11 starts. That dates back to 2014 for Brad. And it's a career high streak. Fouled back again, just below us to our left.
Tell you what, it's a different Brad Peacock when you see him throwing off speed in full counts.
Yeah.
Normally doesn't have that kind of confidence, but here in recent starts, able to have better command of that fastball to get ahead, and also better command of the off speed to throw it in different counts.
Of course, Brad Peacock was acquired from the Oakland A's with Max Stassi and Chris Carter. That was the Jed Lowry deal. Ground ball hit left side, 2 hops for Gurriel. Without a hop, he'll make the throw, and a good one. That does it for the Angels in the first inning. A couple of strikeouts for Peacock. We're scoreless after 1. Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Played 1 from Angel Stadium. Scoreless ball game. To the top of the second inning we go. Cleanup man Carlos Correa at the plate. Hit safely in 4 straight. Offering on that first pitch. And Carlos is still bothered by that sore left shoulder. He's been gutting through it. And I think he's impressed a lot of people, not only with the great skills that he has, obviously, but his desire to grind through and play each game and have it be meaningful. Oh, and 2 the count.
What's important about that is that you gain the respect of your teammates.
Absolutely. And your manager and the coaches and opposition players, it all comes into play, I think. But I think your point is the one that's the biggest. You have the respect of your teammates, and it might bring some guys with you. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Correa leading it off.
The Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio effect. Those guys are going out there grinding. They're superstars. Why am I not?
Curveball stays up. That fills it. Right-hander Daniel Wright on the mound. Carlos Correa would love to get to 100 RBIs. Lines one to right field off the end of the bat. That's a base hit. Leadoff single here in the 2nd inning. Correa now has hit safely in 5 straight.
This moment in history is going to be presented to you by M.D. Anderson. September 30th, 2007. Craig Biggio's final game. Number 7 painted on Towles Hill out there in center field in recognition of all-time great Craig Biggio. And of course, why wouldn't he? First at bat, hit a double in that game. Phenomenal career.
That's what he was made of, right?
Absolutely.
Yuli Gurriel at the plate takes the breaking ball low. Gurriel has been slumping, hitting .258. Still riding with 3 home runs. Ball and a strike on Yuli. Bish on that final day.
What a moment.
Going all Cal Ripken on the folks, huh?
Yeah. Well, Bish understood that these fans were showing up to watch him play, giving a little bit back of what he could.
Deservedly so. I mean, what a phenomenal career, and he has wound up where he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Hopefully he occasionally gets home. Ball and a strike on Gurriel. Small slider on the outside edge. Gurriel had a couple of hits. Double mixed in Wednesday against Seattle. 7 RBIs over his last 14 games. Nice job by Bandy to keep that one in front. 2-2 the count. Where does time go? Major League debut for Gurriel back on August 21st. He's 4th on the club in that span in hits. Tied for 4th in RBIs. Ground ball right side. To his left to make the play onto first base is Coward, and out number 1. So Correa advances 90 feet. He's at second. 1 out for A.J. Reed.
It was a real concerted effort by Coward to even try and get the lead runner.
And I would assume as a former infielder you felt like there was an opportunity there, and I felt the same way.
And granted, we have a vantage point up here, but your internal clock should tell you got a chance to get Carlos at second base.
Johnny Giovitella had been the everyday second baseman. He got sent down to the minor leagues and not recalled for September.
Ouch.
So that's not a good sign for Giovitella. Reed out in front, skies one deep down the right field side at the foul pole. It goes foul. And
man, that was close.
Maybe just enough distance to get it out of here.
It'd be kind of cool to see A.J. Reed hanging around and getting a start this weekend and launching one in his first at bat.
So Reed comes up just shy. 3 home runs on his major league career, 8 RBIs. No balls and a strike on A.J. Hitting just 174 in limited opportunities now. Takes a strike. And that's the pitch that the book says AJ handles well, that fastball out over the plate.
Say, a big man like him, you want to see those arms get extended. Therefore, you think he'd be looking for those pitches up out over the plate.
He was 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter in that recent Seattle series. And that was his first at bat since the 11th of the month. Wound up getting a start on the 10th against the Chicago Cubs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right-hander Daniel Wright. Ground ball right side, backhanded by Crone. He'll feed on to right, out number 2. Moving into third base is Correa, but 2 down now as Teoscar Hernandez comes to the plate.
Right fielder, number 35, Teoscar Hernandez.
Teoscar hitting just .209 now, 4 homers, 9 RBIs. He played in that Wednesday game against Seattle, went 1 for 4 with a double and scored a run. Hit safely in 8 of his last 10. He has shown that he's got plenty of power. 9 of his 19 hits with the club have gone for extra bases. 4 dingers, 5 doubles. Out in front as he taps it foul third base side. Ball and a strike on Teoscar.
I think Teoscar for me has done enough to get consideration maybe for that 4th outfield spot next year. Like you said, he's had some good ABs. There is sneaky pop in that bat. Gets the barrel on it, seems to go a little bit. There's a relatively good outfield. We talked about the arm is good, but it's just making sure that thing is on target.
He's had a tendency of throwing over cutoff men. That's something that you can obviously work through. As you say, arm strength is there. Made 12 starts in left field.
It's pretty evident that he is coachable and willing to make adjustments. 2014 season didn't put up great offensive numbers, came back, or I'm sorry, 2015, but came back this year and put up good enough numbers in making the adjustment to get the call to the big leagues and produce.
Lays off that breaking ball left up. Count runs filled, 3-2. Jason Castro waiting on deck. Got a glimpse of Alex Bregman in the dugout, and it would appear that Alex is done now with this season with that hamstring. Still kind of a concern, I think, for management. I think they're going to try to keep him out. Line shot down the left side, and that's a fair ball. Kicks in the seats. Ground rule double. That plates a run. 1-0 Houston here in the 2nd inning. RBI number 10 now for Teoscar Hernandez.
Bats mean something to him. Good 2-out RBI, driving it in. Looked like a hanging changeup at 82, coming right back into the barrel of Teoscar, and he does a good job of lacing it down that left field line. Ground rule double.
Well, there you go. The Astros with 2 outs get a big double. Jason Castro now with a man in scoring position. Castro 0 for his last 10, hitting .209 on the year. 11 home runs, 4 consecutive years in double digits with long balls.
Going to take a look at our Lexus defensive rankings in the outfield for the Los Angeles Angels. You can see G-Man Choi out there in left. Can play some first base too. Rafael Ortega in center field. Cole Calhoun, he is one with the cannon out there. He has got a very good arm out there in right field for the Angels, and Mike Scioscia.
Good aggressive outfielder on top of that. You're right. I think he's one of the overlooked outfielders in the American League.
No, he's a pretty good, well-rounded ball player, both defensively and offensively.
No balls and a strike on Castro. Ground ball slowly hit to first. Crone handles it, goes to the bag, and that'll do it. The Astros strand a man, but pick up a run on the RBI double by Hernandez. 1-0 Houston.
Look at our Chevy Strobe poll tonight. Make sure to head on to Twitter. Vote in the poll at Root Sports SW where you can find our question. Who's the Astros' most likely pitcher to have a breakout year in 2017? So we're looking ahead. Joe Musgrove, Michael Felice, Yandel Gustave, James Hoyt. And I know some of you have already tweeted, you've already voted, and I think we have a couple saying Chris Stavinsky, and I would have to argue that he's already broken out, guys. We've seen a lot of him. He's been a big part of this club and why this team has so many wins this year. And also I've heard Francis Martez is another name being thrown out on the Twitterverse. So keep writing the names in. That's fun too.
Yeah, I think we agree with you, Julian. I think Chris Stavinsky has kind of had a breaking out party this year. I hope he gets a lot of consideration in that Rookie of the Year category. As we look at Andrelton Simmons leading off for the Angels here in the second. 1-0 Houston. Peacock falls behind. 3 balls, no strikes. Simmons doesn't hit for a lot of power, just 4 home runs on the year, but that batting average at .280. Pretty impressive the way he's come along after a slow start this year.
Yeah, the Angels traded for the glove. The bonus was the bat coming over.
That's exactly right. 3 balls and a strike. And they didn't get shortchanged on the glove. He can play some shortstop.
Big time.
I think Mike Scioscia would tell you that he's been the glue in the infield now. 3-2. Peacock comes back in the count.
I'll tell you what, if you don't have a staff that's going to go out there and blow the doors off guys, you better have a good defense behind that, not only to track it down, but to pick it.
Simmons hit in the month of May .087. Taps it foul. That after a .253 mark in the opening month. But he turned it on in July. .375. He's been steady just under the .280 mark since. Down the right field side, long run for Teoscar. Right near the line, and he drops it. It's a fair ball. Digging into second base, Simmons. And it should be an E9. Teoscar now playing in right field and struggling with that ball to his left.
Well, that ball off a right-handed bat will be twisting away from the right fielder. And it's tough. It's not easy. You're doing it in foreign territory, too, out here in Anaheim. You can see he kind of ran back and then had to make the adjustment back in. And you get a good look at it on our Supermo brought to you by Mattress Firm. Actually right in the glove.
I've seen some
Ouch.
right-handed outfielders who've had that same issue. I think the key is you want to get there hard early and try to catch that ball more in on the body.
Yeah, if you try and drift with the ball and you got two things moving at the same time, makes it extremely tough.
So it's a two-base error, charge to Hernandez. Nobody out as Jet Bandy is at the plate. Big young catcher for the Angels. Lines one on a hop past Correa. Simmons had to freeze momentarily. It'll be a base hit. Runners at first and third. Nobody out. And the center fielder, Ortega, will come to the plate.
We've heard about the injury to that left shoulder of Carlos Correa, and it looks like he might be protecting it a little bit here. Usually we see a little bit more extension with that left arm.
Jet Bandy has swung it well against the Astros. That's the first Angels hit of the night. Left-hand hitting Rafael Ortega at the plate. One dinger, 15 RBIs. Hitting just .229. Brad Peacock went 5 and 6 at AAA this year. 22 games overall, 21 as a starter. He was third in the PCL in strikeouts per 9 inning. In fact, he was over a strikeout per inning. And as Blummer talked about earlier, he's done well in that category now since joining the Astros. Simmons at third, Bandy at first base. Castro a brief meeting at the mound. Ortega has just 40 hits on his season. 5 hits in his last 13 at bats, so he's been swinging it well. Takes a strike. Peacock here in the early goings, falling behind a few of the hitters. Ortega 5 RBIs in his last 6 games. And now a 3-2 count.
Wow, that was impressive. It's not easy to do. Turn on the ball that much to get it down where the manager's sitting.
Trying to impress somebody?
Yeah, that'll scatter your goggles.
Mentioned the 5 RBIs in the last 6 games for Ortega. He had just 4 in his previous 42. Runner goes from first. The pitch is inside, and that'll load him up. 2-base error, a single, and now a walk. Bases juiced.
Get a special gift for the Astros fan in your life and have your special message become a part of Minute Maid Park forever with the Astros Brick Paver program. Visit astros.com/bricks for more details.
Left-hand hitting Caleb Cowart comes to the plate, playing at second base tonight. Switch hitter, batting left-handed. Infield plays back for 2 as the breaking ball's in for a strike. Cowart with a batting average just 179. Hits one in the gap to right center field, and nobody's getting there. This goes to the wall. 2-run score easily, and now being waved home Ortega. He will score moving into third base is Cowart. It'll be a 3-run double. And advancing on the throw is Cowart. And the Angels here in the second inning take a 3-1 lead.
A mistake, base hit, and a walk. And a bases clearing double. Right, that happy spot for the left-handed hitters, down and in. All Coward has to do is drop the barrel on it and drive through it and find some empty acreage out there, and he did.
And that double that plates 3 snapped an 0 for 24 for Coward. That throw comes in a bit high, and when that cutoff man can't get to it, runners are going to move up. Infield draws in. 3-1 Angels. Ji-Man Choi at the plate. Choi hitting just 165. Ball and a strike. So yeah, that 2-base error really sets up this inning. But 2 hits in the walk. Good breaking ball. It's 1-2. Choi now 1 for 7 with a walk since being recalled from AAA. That came on September 3rd. Third stint of the year for Choi with these Angels. That breaking ball in the dirt. They appeal down to third. No swing. Count evens at 2-2. Well, Peacock could certainly stand to keep something in the infield here, or the strikeout. Following Choi, the leadoff man, Cole Calhoun. Again, the curveball, again in the dirt. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Choi originally made the opening day roster for the Angels. Then was designated for assignment on May 11th. That's a tough way to get a year started. Wound up clearing waivers. And then recalled again on July 9th. 3-2 pitch. He lays off. Second walk of the inning. Third of the night already issued by Peacock. And now runners at the corners again. Still nobody out here. And Cole Calhoun comes to the plate. Brent Strom comes out to the mound.
Brent Strom would be happy with that 3-2 slider to Ji-Man Choi. Nothing against G-Man, but you usually get down to that bottom part of the order. You like to challenge those guys and force them to hit themselves onto the base paths instead of walking them. Especially when you got Cole Calhoun coming up right behind him, a good left-handed hitter. Going to open up that space at first base with A.J. Reed holding him on. And right after that, some guy named Mike Trout.
So some guys starting to get up and loosen the bodies up in the Astros pen. Cole Calhoun, Mike Trout, C.J. Cron coming up. And Calhoun, plenty of power. There's Trout waiting on deck. 18 dingers for Calhoun. He struck out in the first. Peacock got him on that curveball. Popped up on the right side. Great way to get that first out. Altuve is under and calling. He'll make the catch. And there is out number 1.
Good start. Pop up and a double play. Limit the damage. You're a tough guy to double up.
.29 dingers, 99 RBIs for Trout. He's been a run-scoring machine. He's led the league 3 times already. Leads this year at 123. His career high came in 2012. Scored 129 runs. Drew a walk in the first, stole a couple of bags. Hit by a pitch, a fastball at 98 miles an hour just the other night, and that in the left shoulder area, that shoulder blade. Like so many guys, you get to this stage of the year, you want to complete some of the numbers. Lays off the slider. 2 balls, no strikes. Two and one as Trout has a good swing, fouling it right into that mask of Jason Castro.
Yeah, that's pretty much squared up.
May have noticed Albert Pujols not playing tonight, and we may not see Pujols in these 3 games. Been bothered by plantar fasciitis in the right foot now.
Good grief.
I believe it was 2 years ago that he had the left foot. Two balls and a strike on Trout. And 2-2, well spotted with a fastball. Pops it foul right side. That's back to the seats. Right to the first row. Jason Castro and A.J. Reed converged.
I think I saw Julia ducking.
I hope so.
She could have made a play on that.
It's been a long season. We need to keep her healthy.
Can't quit on the season, Julia.
I know, I've come this far, guys. I've come this far. We can't.
Show us your move, Julia. What'd you do on that pop fly?
What did I move? Oh, I watched it.
Did you?
I'm getting better at them.
You are.
I'm actually knowing that I'm right underneath it or not.
Did
Earlier,
you?
I would just run from everything that went my direction.
You didn't call it, though, right?
No, I didn't want it. No, I don't have a glove, so I was ready.
You say, I got it, you take it.
I was ready to move, right.
2-2 pitch. Half swing. The appeal. Yes, he did go through. Mike Trout has had a tendency to strike out a lot, and he does strike out here. I don't believe he agreed with that call down at first base by Lance Barnett.
Much like everybody else in this ballpark, you take a look for yourself. Borderline, but getting the benefit of the call is Brad Peacock in a big situation.
Second strikeout for Brad, and now runners still at first and third. 2 outs for C.J. Cron. Little slider stays up. Cron fouls it back. Cron a strikeout victim in the first inning. Brad's going to have to get away from the walks and falling behind in counts. Slider left up, fouled back. Your booth mate over there was ducking pretty quickly, Blummer.
Yeah, he went straight to the paper.
The paper block.
He's going to go for the knock it down, throw him out.
Concerns me when I see a guy up here in the booth duck that quickly. Runner goes and now holds up. Altuve will watch the run score and now feed on to Reed. Carlos Correa will try to end this and applies the tag. That'll do it. But another run scores. Angels pick up 4. And through 2 innings of play, lead it 4-1.
it's Astros fans. Don't forget that we love showing your comments and reactions from Twitter during the telecast, so be sure to mention @RootSportsSW in your tweet for the best chance to see it on air. And the tweets are coming in already. I think we have one on our Stro poll tonight too. Here's a good one. Love my Stros. Enjoy the break, rest, get ready for next season. It was an exciting ride, I'd have to agree. And Kyle wants us to mention Martez in the Chevy poll. Oh, we saw him pitch in Corpus Christi. He's a dude. Morgan Insberg, I'm guessing, is who he's talking about. Is that a Morgan Insberg-ism?
That's the ultimate status, I guess, to be a dude. I don't know how that goes in the reports when you send them in.
Jake Marisnick gets jammed, hits one softly on a line, handled by Marte at third base, and out number 1. And Julia, you're not done yet, are you?
No, I want to talk about George Springer. It's our Toyota time to play, and he has been on a tear. That homestand was a good one for him. The .439 average in his last 9 games. The OPS sky high for him. He just looks much better here recently. He's just going one of those stretches where the bat is hot, the swing is under control a little bit here recently. But George Springer's also, what's been impressive about his years, how many games he's played in. He's played in all of them so far. And so at this point, it's almost a sense of pride for him to finish out the season strong in these last few. Not sure how A.J. Hinch will work it the next 3 days, but Springer wants to be out there. And that was the big question before the year. Could he make it through the entire year with dealing with injuries the past 2 years? So good for him psychologically to get through an entire season and to feel good at the end of the year. However, A.J. Hinch did say, in the future it may not be the case. I'd love to get Springer and Correa and Altuve, these guys, more days off. I'd like our team to be, have a lead in the division and be able to do that. It just wasn't in the cards for them this year as they were fighting every single day, trying to win every single game, Ash.
Thank you, Julia. And boy, what a big thing that is to try to play every game. George Springer has a chance, Blummer, to make it 162, maybe 161 starts. We don't know yet how that's going to work out. How might that change things for George in the years to come now?
I think if you ask George, he knows that he had a label of maybe being one of those guys that gets hurt a little too often. And coming into this season, seeing what he did in the minor leagues, but we saw him get hurt the first couple of years. We were disappointed in that, just in the sense that we love what he does on the field, and we want to see more of it. I think this year is going to prove something to the organization, number one, but it's also, like Julia said, going to prove something to George Springer. Now that he knows how to handle a 162-game schedule, playing in most of those games, that's only going to help him moving forward, because having that talent on the field as often as possible, like AJ wants, is a benefit to the Houston Astros.
Completely agree. And yeah, I think it could be a big step forward for George. You never know what's going to happen in a coming season, but once you know you can play every game and you settle down at the end of the year and you think, I can do that. That was okay. And I think that can really help the club as well. Springer grounds out, 2 down in the 3rd inning. It brings up Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin popped to short in the 1st inning, takes a strike.
For me, this guy right here could be a little more pivotal in the sense of giving guys days off. Not necessarily full days off, but giving them DH days. But because the first base position has been such an issue for the Houston Astros, it thrust Marwin Gonzalez into first base every day. Therefore, you can't have him play shortstop for a night, give Correa either a day off or a DH day.
In a large sense, he hasn't been a utility guy this year. He's been a first baseman.
I agree. Which is great for Marwin.
Yeah.
It shows versatility, number one, but also shows that bat will get him in the lineup. And he plays a great first base, too.
Bunts one, third base side. Very good bunt. The throw to first not nearly in time. Marwin has a 2-out bunt single. And for the Astros, their 3rd hit of the night. It comes with 2 outs and brings up Jose Altuve.
Hits. It's all about the hits. It's a pretty phenomenal bunt to lay down.
Marte made a nice play, but there was no chance. And if you were just rating things on the wise scale, that might have been wiser to hold on to that baseball. Jose Altuve flying to right field in the 1st. The Astros picked up their run in the 2nd inning. Carlos Correa, after a leadoff single, scored on a 2-out double by Teoscar Hernandez. Altuve with the 0 for 1 tonight, now hitting .337. 2 years ago, he won the batting title at 341. Led the league in hits that year, 225, as he lines one into left field. So Altuve 1 for 2 on the night. Back-to-back 2-out hits brings up Carlos Correa.
Good swing by Altuve, and that'll give us a chance to look at our forward spray chart. This is Jose Altuve and his line drive percentage by season, and guess what? 2014 was a pretty good season for Jose Altuve. This season, even better. Those are going to be the 2 seasons that you're going to see Jose Altuve walk away with another batting title.
His first 2, you mean?
Yeah, plenty more to come. It's a good thought.
You know, I see him as one of those guys that I ran into Rod Carew and George Brett early on. I saw Tony Gwynn. You saw Tony Gwynn. Wade Boggs. Guys that just win batting titles because they're better than everybody else. And I could see Altuve being in that kind of category.
How about all those guys you're talking about? Their ability to just get the barrel on the ball so consistently and create those line drives. All of them.
That is exactly true. Correa takes the ball.
Did you see Rod? He was here today. He was down in the tunnel underneath behind outside the clubhouse.
No, I did not see him. They had a little video clip of him throwing out a pitch.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that was today or if that had happened previously.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he actually threw it out today, but he was down underneath. When I came in today, I had a chance to stop by and say hello to him again. I've had some good interaction with Rod Carew. Phenomenal hitter, great human being too. Need him to get healthy.
You know, you hear the term, guy swings a wand. Rod Carew could swing a wand, and he'd hit with some power too. But I mean, he could flip it at will where there was nobody playing. Correa takes a strike. It's 1-2.
Kind of had a unique stance. You talk about it quite a bit when he laid that bat down. And I had a chance to ask him why he did that. And he said it was because of Nolan Ryan trying to get on top of those heaters.
Well, that's interesting. Laid the bat back, had that uncocked kind of position. Correa fouls it back. Carlos a base hit and scored in the second. Just lined one softly into right field for that leadoff single. And again, one of the guys pursuing numbers. 96 ribbies for Carlos. Tied with Altuve leading the club. Just away.
Tell you what, Carlos can make a nice little run at that 100 right now with a nice, majestic, long fly ball, maybe into the rock pile out there in center field.
Yeah, I think he could handle getting to 99 with one swing. 2-2 pitch. And now 3-2.
Daniel Wright is sensing the same thing.
Yeah, that's probably not a friendly sight to look at Correa and think, okay, I've got to come in. So at 3-2, 2 outs here in the inning. The runners will be on the move. Marwin at second, Altuve from first. And Yuli Gurriel waits on deck. Runners go. The pitch is tapped foul.
Maybe expanding a little bit, trying to get that pitch to drive.
So we'll do it again at 3-2. Yeah, you're right. This is one of those really nice opportunities early in a ball game to add to the RBI column. Now, whether Carlos and Altuve get 3 games to play right now, I think we're unsure about that.
They've earned the right for us to be unsure about that.
I think so, yeah. And strike 3 is called. Carlos caught looking, and that'll do it for a strikeout on the night for Wright. He strands a pair, leads it 4-1.
4-1 over the Houston Astros as we go to the bottom of the third. And greater coverage of baseball is brought to you by T-Mobile. Astros rotation at the start of the season. This is how we broke camp with the Houston Astros. Dallas Keuchel, the ace, reigning Cy Young Award winner. Colin McHugh, Doug Fister, Mike Fiers, Scott Feldman rounding out the 5-man rotation as we broke spring training. What, 2 years ago? Oh, wait. Just a couple months ago.
Oh, now, come on. Let's split the difference. Yeah. Yeah, it's always a long season, but you get to the end and you think, where did the time go?
So much has happened. I mean, you talk about a roller coaster ride for these Houston Astros.
C.J. Cron at the plate. Slices one down the right field side, and it drops foul. There's your starting rotation. For Scott Feldman, no longer a part of the club. Doug Fister's had a rough second half. Dallas Keuchel unable to pitch. Colin McHugh has really battled and
he has
been
and
a
he's had a
winning
good
pitcher
September.
here. Yeah, you're right. He's gone out and given the team a chance to win start after start. After winning 19 a year ago, I think there are a lot of people thought, well, maybe that can't continue. Well, he hasn't won 19, but he's pitched well.
Yeah, it's tough to match the standards that Keuchel and McHugh put up last year. 39 wins between the two of them.
Off the end of the bat to left field. Marwin's there and makes the play. One up, one down for Peacock in the third. Yeah, there's a face we long to see.
Well, he got the Astros going. Adding him into that rotation, he's electric. Fastball, curveball combination, and just a high strikeout guy, high intensity. Still learning how to pitch in the big leagues, but stuff that could really set the tone in a series.
I guess to be accurate, it's more the arm we'd like to see again.
Yes.
A very impressive arm, by the way. Marte at the plate. Hit his first career grand slam on Tuesday. And it was the Angels' third of the year. Hit in the air and quite well to left field. Back at the wall. This one is out of here. Marte has launched one to left field, his 14th of the year. And the Angels now lead it 5-1. We're in the third. Jeffrey Marte with a big swing.
It was a breaking ball that didn't break. Just hung up and fluttered again out in the middle of the plate. Marte just leaned back on that one.
Peacock and the Astros down early and down fairly big as this ball goes foul, and not by much. Andrelton Simmons in a bid for his 5th home run.
Buggy whipped a line drive, almost stayed fair.
It was Simmons hitting that fly ball down the right field side, leading off the second inning. The ball that Teoscar Hernandez could not catch. We saw the ball right in the glove of Hernandez, and he couldn't hold on. And that led to a big inning. 4 runs later, the Angels led it 4-1. They've added to it here in the third. Simmons hitting right at 280. We talked about his slow start on the year. Month of May, just not good at all. It's a 2-hopper to third. Uriel makes the play. Second out of the inning here. It'll bring up Jet Bandy.
Some dynamic arms that we're talking about. Lance McCullers, we know what he can do with that fastball slider combination. Ken Giles has the power slider, but for me, Yandel Gustave is probably one of the more interesting guys out of there, because in the limited time that I've seen him, and I'm not sure if you agree, Ash, well, I've seen a very good fastball, mid to high 90s, But I've actually been extremely impressed with his ability to locate that slider. When it is on, it is pretty filthy, and he might be one of those guys that could mix into that bullpen next year.
Totally agree. Love his velocity. It sets up everything for him. Another guy that is not on that list, but could be close, Michael Feliz. We saw him early in the season hitting 98 and made it look really easy. Good command with it. I think the long season has worn him down a bit. Pitch is hit high in the air, shallow in center field. Jake Marisnick comes on. He'll make the catch. That'll do it in the 4th inning, but a solo home run by Marte adds that lead. 5-1 Angels.
Authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
To the 4th inning we go. For the Astros, trailing at 5-1. Yuli Gurriel leads it off, followed by A.J. Reed and Teoscar Hernandez. A run on 4 hits, an error, very costly for the Astros. The Angels 5 runs on 3 hits. They have the game's only long ball, that by Jeffrey Marte, their cleanup man. Daniel Wright brings the first pitch off speed and gets a strike. Two more games. Tomorrow it's Colin McHugh going to the mound against Tyler Skaggs. Gurriel has been hit by a pitch. So he's aboard to start the 4th inning. And again, we check in with Julia.
Hey guys, as A.J. Reed comes up to bat here, these next couple of games will be a great opportunity for him because he'll probably be seeing some more at bats, more than he's seen here recently. It is for anyone really who hasn't been getting a lot of playing time, but A.J. Reed this season hasn't gone the way that he had hoped and dreamed, and so this is a good chance for him to get things right, to finish on a good note, and have something to work on into the offseason and into spring training next year.
Boy, isn't that the truth? I think we all thought as we saw A.J. Reed come to the big leagues this year that he might be the answer at first base. It's been hard to find that guy, but for A.J. Reed, for whatever reason, things haven't equated the same here as they did in the minor leagues.
And it's okay. A lot of these guys that you're going to see coming up have not struggled in the minor leagues. Therefore, they've earned their right to come up here to the big leagues, but this is the show. And you're going to have your struggles. And sometimes it's okay for these guys to struggle a little bit and get a little bit of anger instilled in them. It's how they use that anger or how they use that humbling experience of being in the big leagues. If they make the adjustment, get mad at the baseball and start to produce and create an edge with it, I think that's a good thing.
Well, to your point, I mean, the Astros have seen George Springer have his ups and downs when he first came to the big leagues. Carlos Correa is such a rare talent to be able to come up and succeed right away.
Yeah, there's a technical term for that, and it's called freak. That's what Carlos is. Yeah, they don't make too many like him.
Right off the end of the bat on that off-speed breaking ball. Count stays at 0-2. Yeah. Well, the Astros have got some freaks, and that's the good news as you look forward. There are some really good players, great talent that has a chance to be around here a long time. Can you add to that talent? Can you bring the A.J. Reeds along and turn this into the club you believe you can have?
Don't forget you've got Tyler White over there too. A couple of first base options that if they can turn the corner and start turning into big league hitters, then you release Marwin and let him roam a little bit and be that utility player.
And we've seen with Tyler White, well, he's really put in the work and he's turned his season around.
I agree completely. Reed just looks like a guy for me. If he could just figure out how to get the barrel on it more consistently, the ball's going to go flying. He is a massive human being.
Well, he's 2016's Boog Powell.
Yeah,
and
right.
he's that big guy that you might say, well, why doesn't he lose some weight? Well, Boog Powell was pretty good at a heavy weight.
It cracks me up when guys get to this position and then all of a sudden people want them to change.
Yeah.
You got to make adjustments, but you can't change completely because you are successful being who you are to get here.
Reed down on strikes. First out of the inning. Gurriel still at first base as Teoscar Hernandez comes to the plate. A couple of strikeouts on the night for Wright. Batting average at .217 for Teoscar. He committed that two-base error that started the second inning. And that one really hurt Brad Peacock. Oh, and 1 the count. 20 for 92 is what Teoscar is. Fastball misses up and in. Just 89-90 on the heater from Wright. He would seem to be right in that range where the Astros hitters could tune it up. Of the 5 runs against Brad Peacock so far tonight, 3 of those listed right now as earned against him. And that's how costly that error was. And beyond that, it got the inning started. The 2-1. Ground ball back to the mound. That's off the glove of Wright. But Simmons right there. He'll start a double play as he steps on the bag and fires to first. It'll go 1-6-3 on the double play. First of the night. We played 3.5, 5-1 Angels.
5-1 over the Houston Astros in the bottom of the fourth. Follow Astros baseball live with MLB.com's At Bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day, StatCast, live highlights, and more. Even at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi. Download the app for your phone or tablet now.
We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. 5-1 Angels lead it. They had a 4-run second, a couple of those runs unearned, and then picked up another in the third. Brad Peacock has walked 3 and has a chance to get a 1-pitch out here. Altuve backing on the outfield grass in shallow center makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
Thank you very much.
So Ortega is down. It brings up Coward. Doubled in 3 in the second inning. Snapped an 0 for 24 with that double. And those were the first 3 scored by the Angels tonight.
Did you get excited as a catcher when a guy made an out on the first pitch of the inning and you just immediately jump back behind the plate and just put down the number 1, say throw it right down the middle?
Sometimes it would be just like that. This breaking ball in the air to right field. Teoscar there to make the play. 2 down quickly. I bet you're right. I mean, there are those times when you think, okay, let's get this guy through the inning, because he's not going to last long if he has more innings like he's had to this point.
And how frustrated did you get as a second guy in that inning when the guy ahead of you swung at that first pitch and made the out? Was your mentality always to go up there and take at least the first pitch?
Most of the time, but that was a tricky one, because there were a lot of times I'd convince myself that, okay, I'm going to get a fastball right here for the reasons you just talked about and try to jump on something. Of course, after you pop it up, then
it's so tough, isn't it?
Kind of crosses everything up, doesn't it? How'd you feel in that category?
Oh man, I went up there, at first I was a little upset. I'm like, way to go. Now you put me in a situation where I've got to think the entire time I'm walking up to the plate. But I'm with you. You knew it was going to be a fastball. Yep. But again, that threat of not extending the inning a little bit, making that pitcher work.
I played for Frank Robinson, and I know you were around Robbie. Robbie, he let us know that if you went up there and swung at that first pitch after a 1-pitch out, that he wasn't pleased with you. Peacock with a strikeout. That'll do it for the Angels in a quick 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. Through 4, 5-1. Angels lead it.
Astros. Host your holiday party with elegant spaces, high-end entertainment, and great pricing for every type of event at Minute Maid Park. Get a 50% room rental discount and a 10% food and beverage discount on select dates. Visit astros.com/party at the park or call 713-259-8800. Ash?
Thank you, Julia. Let's have a party at the park, okay?
Okay.
I'm in.
Does that mean I'm invited? You guys are actually going to invite me to something?
Even Matt's invited.
Oh.
You guys were having a party without me. My feelings were hurt earlier today.
We don't party well without you,
You
Julia.
guys have broadcaster meetings without me. That's cool.
Yeah, it took you 160 games to figure that out.
How long has that been going on?
Oh, there's a lot of things going on.
Oh.
You're more than welcome.
Jason Castro leads off for the Astros. 2-0 the count. Fastball laced into right center field. That'll drop for a hit. So Castro, who had grounded out his first at bat, 1 for 2 now, leads it off with a knock.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. Most home runs at Anaheim by active visiting players. Of course, you're going to see some Rangers, Mariners. David Ortiz is just on every list that goes around.
So you mean Adrian Beltre hits some other teams too?
Yeah, apparently Nelson Cruz does a good job too, doesn't he?
He's a heck of a hitter.
Those are right-handed hitters here too. It's not easy to leave this place in left field. You got to crush it.
You get out to just a little bit center field side of left and then out into left center. This is a big yard. Jake Marisnick leads off. Nobody out. Castro aboard. And the Astros with work to do, trailing 5-1 here in the 5th inning. Astros with 5 hits. They've out-hit the Angels 5-3. But the Angels with a big 3-run double and a solo home run. No Albert Pujols for the Angels. Mike Trout is the DH. Marisnick gets tied up and fouls it back. 2-1 the count. The Astros come into play tonight 40-38 on the road. And no matter the outcome of the next 3 games, Astros will finish with their best road record and the most wins on the road since the club went 44-37 in 2004 on the road. Hammered but fouled down the left side.
Was clearing some space on the inside for Jake.
That might have gotten out there so quickly he hit this ball off the end of the bat.
I'm with you on that.
Two and 2 on Marisnick. Leadoff man George Springer waits on deck. And Marisnick down on strikes. Out number 1 in the 5th. 3 strikeouts for Daniel Wright. With 1 out, George Springer stands in 0 for 2 tonight. Again, he's hit in 9 straight. 261 overall, those 29 home runs. How he would love to add 1 to that. But I think so impressive that George has a burning desire right now to play in all 162 games. That's kind of a statement of no excuses. I'm here and I'm playing every day.
260, 30, and 85. I'm taking that guy.
Oh, you bet. Takes a strike. It's 0-2.
And that kind of, you know, we always put such lofty expectations on George, but those great numbers.
And then throw on that he's one of the game's elite right fielders. I often think, is there anybody any better out there? There are some good right fielders. George stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he's done more than play himself into the conversation. He is in the top 2 or 3.
Can anybody go up on the wall like George?
The range he shows, the first step quickness, the arm, and he's racked up plenty of assists.
Down on strikes. 2 strikeouts in the inning. And now 2 outs following that leadoff single by Castro. It brings up Marwin Gonzalez.
Staying away from George. Fastballs and off speed got him to chase. Sometimes when you see a bunch of pitches in one spot, you have a tendency to guess out there and expand your zone a little bit.
Marlins 1 for 2 tonight. The Astros have left 3 base runners on the night. The Angels just 1. Semi shift on in the infield. Marlins base hit tonight, a beautifully laid down bunt on the third base side. The 1-0. Jet Bandy able to keep that in front. 2 balls, no strikes. Jose Altuve waits on deck. If you're going through the teaching class of Max Stassi, you'd love to keep that glove down on the ground, utilize the chest protector, but in this case, Bandy able to keep the ball in the glove. Tapper to first, prone to the bag, and that'll do it. The Astros get a leadoff single and strand him. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. We're going to break out Thriller here or something?
Yeah, it's about that time of year. October tomorrow out here at they have Knott's Berry Farm, but during October it turns into Knott's Scary Farm.
Yeah, you take the girls out there?
Absolutely not.
Or do they take dad and mom out there, I guess is the question.
Yeah, they know better than that. Ask me to go do that. I'm too old for that stuff, Ash.
Yeah, you'd be surfing with sharks instead, huh?
I'd much rather do that, yeah, than have some artificial fear put in me.
Leadoff man Cole Calhoun at the plate, followed by Mike Trout and C.J. Cron. 5-1 Angels. Saw a shot of something online the other day, but surfers out there and this shark jumping in the background, back in the probably 100 feet behind them, behind the waves.
You got to let nature have fun.
Do sharks actually jump, or was I being duped?
No, it might have been. Dolphins are more of the jumpers, but you've seen Shark Week. They come flying out from underneath to gobble up a seal every now and then.
That's right. That is reality. C.J. Cron, or rather Cole Calhoun, is struck out and popped out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 4 runs in the second inning, a couple unearned after an error by Teoscar Hernandez. 1 more run coming in the 3rd inning. Jeffrey Marte with a long ball. And a 5-1 Halos lead. The Astros With their lone run coming in the second, Carlos Correa led off with a single and scored on a double by Teoscar Hernandez. Nice shot of Max Stassi, and hope the folks got a chance to see his piece on just some of the work behind the plate and what he does. There's Max chatting with Joe Musgrove. He's one of those baseball rats, just loves playing the game. If he can get that bat together, he could be a very valuable guy. 3-2 now on Calhoun. Just down and in. Leadoff walk. And the walks continue for Peacock.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us our league leaders. Run production this season. This is a stat they're using. You see on the bottom. Runs created. Runs per game. If that player ran out and batted 9 times, Altuve, 130, tied for second behind Mike Trout with 135 runs created. Averaging 9.34 runs a game. These numbers, there's a bunch of them out there. These are brought to you by Stats Inc. These are pretty impressive numbers. A lot of things go into that. Base running, what they're doing with the bat, helping their ball club win.
Does that rank that? It doesn't rank any of the defensive side. Runs created, yeah. 0-1 the count on Mike Trout.
Yeah, on the other end, there's the DRS, the defensive runs saved, and I saw a list of that today, and Colby Rasmussen, Jake Marisnick pretty high up on those lists.
Trout takes a strike.
But Trout with that 440 plus on base percentage, raking the ball out of the ballpark, stealing bags.
Mike Trout strikes out a bunch. And he's punched out once tonight. He's also drawn a walk, stolen a couple of bags, 29 stolen bases, 29 dingers, 99 RBIs. And for good reason. A lot of people feel he's the best player in the game. Peacock with an 0-2. Fastball taken, strike 3 called. So Trout falls behind and eventually goes the way of the strikeout, second time tonight, as Trout is 0 for 2.
Man, oh man.
What do you think?
Those are some crazy numbers. Look at those guys. Mookie Betts coming on strong. Altuve is going to win that batting title in the American League. David Ortiz, in all of his retirement glory, is going to be getting some MVP votes. But all the analytics point towards Mike Trout. But his ball club, out of those 4 guys, his ball club's doing the worst.
Okay, so let me ask you, who do you think is going to win the MVP race?
Who do I think?
Yeah.
And who do I want?
No. I know who you want. You want the same guy we all want. That guy right there.
I think he deserves it.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with Jose Altuve.
Well, that's... Ground ball up the middle. That's a base hit. Peacock unable to flag it down. Stopping at second base is Calhoun. Crone has his first hit of the night. And it brings up Jeffrey Marte.
I think Mike Trout is incredible, and he could be voted MVP. He might be voted MVP. But we've heard Mike Scioscia, his manager, comment to the fact that their team is not playing very well. That might count against him for MVP votes. But if you went on just pure statistics and best player, it would be Mike Trout. But for me, MVP, it's got to be Jose Altuve.
Of course, Mookie Betts is a guy that's going to get a lot of run.
He's in a great lineup, plenty of opportunities for RBIs and scoring runs, because when he is on base, he's got a pretty potent lineup driving him in. Plays a great defense.
And I hear you there. That's all true. He's backed it up. Plays in a good offensive ballpark.
Yes.
Where Minute Maid Park doesn't stack up among the better offensive yards. In fact, it has favored the pitchers not only this year, but for some years running now. 1 ball and no strikes. Jeffrey Marte at the plate takes a strike.
Well, we just talked about runs created for Altuve and Mike Trout. If you change those numbers a little bit, we just saw some MVP numbers that are pretty incredible. But if you did the weighted runs created, which takes the ballparks into account that you're talking about, Ash, Altuve is ahead of Mookie Betts. He's just behind Mike Trout and David Ortiz.
Those who have the MVP votes, do you think they'll consider that?
I'm not sure. I think it's trending that way, but I don't think that they will look at that entirely. I think they still look at at how the ball club does.
Yeah, it's an award with that name, most valuable player. Valuable to what? To a winning season, I guess, as the breaking ball kicks up and over Castro, and there's nothing you can do on that. That's simply a wild pitch that Brad Peacock earned himself. Runners move up 90 feet. Calhoun to third, Crone into second, and a 2-2 count on Marte. There's that breaking ball jammed in the dirt so far out in front that as a catcher, all you're trying to do is figure out what is the best height to try to come at this with.
That's a pretty quick calculation. You take into account spin rate and lack of depth on the pitch.
You got to do it, right? I mean, that's what it's all about these days. 2-2 pitch. And now it's filled. 4 walks already issued. There's been a hit batter. Or rather, that's on the Astros side, excuse me, but 4 walks. Marte with that 3rd inning home run. And now 2 runners in scoring position. Infield drawn in. Hit to shortstop. Correa coming to the plate as Calhoun came that direction. And now they'll just apply the tag on Calhoun. Into third base is Crone as Marte alertly moves into second. It is 6-2 on the fielder's choice. But the Angels, in buying some time there just enough, wind up with 2 runners in scoring position once again.
Yeah, you can see Calhoun taking a peek at the base runner at first base, making sure he has enough time to get into second base before he gets tagged out. But with 1 out on third base, you're always told to go on contact.
But now Peacock a chance to get out of the inning with no damage on the board. Andrelton Simmons at the plate, 0 for 2 on the night, has scored a run. And reached on that error. The drop fly ball by Teoscar Hernandez led to a couple of unearned runs in the second. Well, yeah, it's easy, Blummer, back on that MVP discussion. Mike Trout first in the American League in runs, in walks. Drive into right field. That's a base hit. Throw to the plate from Teoscar, not in time. Up and over the cutoff man. Moving into second, Simmons. 2-run score on the base hit. It's now 7-1. And Teoscar Hernandez continues to overthrow cutoff men.
Yeah, the biggest thing in baseball, or why they teach fundamentals, is to keep runners from advancing an extra 90 feet. And overthrows allow that runner to keep moving on.
Skips out to the mound. That's going to do it for Brad Peacock as the Astros will go to the bullpen here in the 5th inning, trailing 7-1.
7-1 over the Houston Astros with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. So we're going to go back and look at those runs created. Now that second line down here, that is if you had 9 Altuves in there, you'd have 7.69 runs. If you had Mike Trout going to the plate 9 times, you'd have 9.34. So that would be a pretty good lineup if you were able to write either one of those guys in, because that is 1 and 2, or 1 and 5, I'm sorry, in runs created over those 27 outs. It's pretty amazing that one guy can contribute that much to a ball club.
As Gustave gets it loose here, and he is to that point. Just back on what we started to talk about, MVP, most valuable player. What would you rather see the award called?
Well, that's the thing. We've had conversations about that. Is it most valuable player puts value on a player to his team? That's my interpretation of it. It kind of takes away from the guy who might actually be the best player in each league statistically, like a guy like Mike Trout, who is continuing to put up phenomenal numbers, player of the year type numbers, yet doesn't get recognized because it doesn't distinguish as a valuable asset to his team winning.
Because his teammates weren't very good. Oh, there was a foul ball headed right for us. Caught the top of the screen.
So, I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe an alteration saying player of the year.
Long time discussion. I doubt that it's ever going to happen, but I agree with you. There have been some MVPs that were by no means the best player in their league on given years. Dick Groat, fine shortstop for the Pirates, was the MVP one year with not big numbers. Zorro Versailles with the Twins, and same story. Would Jose Altuve have a better chance as best player in the league? Now ball foul left side. Jet Bandy at the plate.
He would be in consideration again. A lot of those names that we just showed would be in consideration, but if you really broke down the numbers and said player of the year, Mike Trout has those numbers.
So does it bother you like it bothers me that a lot of the voters just brush away certain players, Mike Trout, Jose Altuve, because their team didn't win?
Yeah. And of course, we could see Mike Trout just totally, throw that out the window and win the award this year too. But that would tell me that everything's trending towards those analytic and the statistical type numbers that we keep hearing about Mike Trout being that newer generation of ball player. But what he's done his first 5 years, my goodness.
Well, he's been the MVP once, that in 2014. The Angels had the best record in the league that year. So do your teammates have to be good for one player to win MVP? Line drive left field. Coming on, and now Marlin has to go up as he backpedals to make the play. That ball was stung the final out of the 5th inning. Angels get a pair with 2 outs. They extend that lead to 7-1.
top of the 6th. Get a behind-the-scenes look at places like historic Union Station luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more with a tour of Minute Maid Park. And for more info, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today. Jose Altuve has been a Houston Astro for many years and only making the playoffs one season. That was last year. He said it's so much harder this year not getting there. It hurts physically not to get where he'd hoped to take this club. And with the season that he's had, you know that that's all he wanted in the whole world, guys. This guy wants to win, and he wants to continue to take his team back to the playoffs. But this time around, it's not going to happen. He did say, you know, still he thinks this team had a really good season. A lot of rookies that they got really good experience. So these are all things that you're hearing Altuve say as a veteran of this club. And the rookies not knowing how to handle not making the playoffs all look to Altuve. How does he react? How will he play the next couple of games that he's in the lineup? They're watching his every move.
Thanks, Julia. Jose Altuve 1 for 2 on his night. Had a 3rd inning single, lining one into left field. He is also fly to right. Changes for the Angels defensively, and we'll get to those in just a moment. Shane Robinson is now the right fielder, taking over for Cole Calhoun. Nick Buss is in left field. Choi, who started the game in left, is now at first base, taking over for Crone. Cliff Pennington is the new shortstop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Altuve leading off the 6th inning, down 7-1. Altuve, Correa, and Gurriel here in the 6th. Talking about the Astros and how well they played on the road this year. Over the last 3 months, 27-17 away from home. It goes back to June 14th.
That's a great number.
Curveball hit in the air and deep into right center field. Going back is Robinson. He'll make the running grab on the track. And out number 1. Altuve stings it the other way.
Oh man, is strong, but this is some of the numbers that I was talking about. Weighted runs created plus. This takes into account the ballpark the guys are playing at. Joey Votto exploding on the scene. This is across Major League Baseball, obviously American League, National League, but Mike Trout leading the way. David Ortiz taking into account there. Josh Donaldson having himself a pretty good year also. There's some big names on there doing some serious damage, but this one again takes into account the ballparks these guys are playing in. Kind of evens things out, makes it a little more of an even playing field.
Do those numbers for David Ortiz in his final season enter him in the discussion for the MVP in the American League?
Yes, my problem with that is, and I'll bring up another sabermetric number, is WAR. WAR takes into account the defense. And David Ortiz, if you look at the whole player, is only an offensive player. Does he's put up phenomenal numbers, but is it enough to win the MVP?
Ray on the ground to shortstop. He's thrown out.
And to that argument too, base running is taken into that.
How many bags does Big Papi have this year?
I don't know. I think we could put him on one hand.
I would be curious if he's stolen a bag, but yeah.
He may have attacked one in April. Not sure down the stretch if he's.
He's been hitting so many home runs and doubles. He leads the league in doubles.
Just incredible what he's been able to do this year.
Yuli Gurriel at the plate.
He's got 2 bags.
2 stolen bases. Well, okay, now he's in the conversation for MVP for me.
There you go, base running. That's creating runs right there. Getting yourself in scoring position. He's got more bags than Evan Gattis.
He's embarrassed me lifetime. He's got 17.
Oh, you better retire quick. I think I'm at 19.
Oh my. I think you're safe. You know that? I think you're safe. 2 balls and a strike on Gurriel. Yuli hitting .256. Line drive dropping in left field. That's a base hit. 2-out single for Gurriel. It'll bring up A.J. Reed.
Talking about Big Papi's D-WAR. He only played 1 game on defense this year.
Who got hurt? Now the Astros will have a pinch runner for Gurriel. Tony Kemp will take over.
Pinch running for the Astros at first base, number 16,
And that likely means that Marwin comes in from left, plays at third base, and Kemp takes over in left field. Meeting at the mound, pitching coach Charles Nagy out there.
One of the greatest shaggers of all time.
Power shagger.
Oh man. I asked him, I said, Chuck, what are you doing out there? He was a pitching coach in Arizona when I played with the Diamondbacks. And I mean, this guy was trucking all over the field. He was in nonstop motion. And he just told me, he goes, this is how I get my cardio in.
You know, I think the best power shagger I ever played with was Bill Dawling, former big and very good relief pitcher for a while with the Astros. Oh, he could power shag. Guys would be trying to get their work in the outfield, and he'd be cutting in front, knocking down. And
oh, that's hilarious.
Called him Doggy, and Doggy was a grinder during BP.
That's awesome.
You wind up with those teammates that stand out for something that's unusual, and it's funny how you'll run through those things in your head every once in a while. Remember this guy for whatever reason.
That's true. That defining characteristic.
Reed out in front. 1-2 the count. Shift on in the infield. Don't know if AJ has taken efforts to try to hit the ball the other way.
I'll tell you what, the Angels are basically daring him to. Mike Trout is playing basically right center field.
It's not often you see a shift on in the infield to the right side and the center fielder following in that direction. Oftentimes you see the outfield shift the other way.
Yep. The outfield will do the exact opposite.
Reed down on strikes, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 6th inning. That's 5 strikeouts picked up by Daniel Wright. 2 5.5, 7-1 Halos.
We go to the bottom of the 6th, and it's time to name that Astro. This is presented by your local Honda dealer. We give you some clues, and then you get to guess by tweeting us at Root Sports SW. One season with 30 homers and 100 RBI. Made his debut in '97, and woof. There you go. And he was in the game notes today too, I believe.
Yeah, all I needed was that last one. I know exactly who that is.
That actually took me in another direction.
Could you explain?
No, I'll lay off that one right now. David Paulino Blummer is the Astros' new right-handed pitcher. Julia, you put me in a bad spot.
Oh man, that's my job, isn't it?
Yep, and you do it. You do it very well too.
I'm kidding. Sorry, Ash.
That's quite all right. David Paulino takes over, brings a strike, and now in front 0-2. Rafael Ortega at the plate, hitting .227. Drew a walk in the second inning and wound up scoring on a double by Coward.
Some notes on Paulino, making his third appearance. He's only worked 4 innings. Still getting some work in. Big, tall, lanky right-hander.
Ground ball right side is foul. Defensive changes for the Astros. And we talked about the work that Tyler White has been putting in. He's done so much in losing weight that now he is the second baseman taking over for Altuve. Marwin Gonzalez has moved from left to shortstop. Colin Moran is the third baseman. Tony Kemp, who came on as a pinch runner, is playing in left field. Marwin makes the play, submarines the throw, and out number 1. Bible pitcher candidates. What do you think on that one?
Ooh. Colin McHugh's finishing strong, but I got to go with Devo. Young man. He has been thrust into some interesting roles for A.J. Hinch out of that bullpen. Really a guy that I'm not sure they were actually planning on counting on, but he has taken the baseball every time he's been called on, whether it be a start, long relief, come in and some extra inning ball games, eat up some innings, but we've seen him in some crucial situations late in ball games here down the stretch. I really like what he's done.
We really didn't know who Chris Stavinsky was back in spring training.
But you can't discount what Colin McHugh's done.
Not a bit. No, I am totally with you on that one. And after not getting off to a good start, in fact, as rough a start as you'll ever see on his first outing of the year, what a turnaround. Shift on in the infield. Only Moran now playing on that left side. Caleb Coward at the plate. 3-run double in the second inning. And that's the big blow. Andrelton Simmons had a 2-out single driving in a pair in the 5th inning. Brad Peacock started, went 4 2/3, 5 hits, 7 runs, 5 earned, 4 walks, costing Brad tonight. Count stays at 2-2. Not sure how much you've seen of David Paulino. And is he one of those guys that kind of fits in that category of, boy, I can't wait to see what he does next year?
I wish I had seen more of him. I've only seen brief glimpses, heard great things about him. The velocity I anticipated being maybe a little bit more. This 93 mile an hour, 94 on this pitch is a little more what I was expecting, which is good to see.
Which is a little better than we saw in his first game.
Yeah. Slider and a changeup. I've heard the changeup is a pretty good pitch for him. That's a nice pitch to go along with the 94 mile an hour fastball.
Anticipating toward next year, what would you think for Michael Feliz? Is he likely to get a shot to be a starter, or is he going to be in that bullpen and possibly in the back end?
I'm not sure. I mean, I like the arm, but for me, it's the number of pitches. I'd like to see a starter with multiple 3-4 pitches to go out there and attack a lineup when you're going to go see him 3-4 times throughout the course of the game. Those guys out of the bullpen that pitch 1 inning or 2 innings have a little bit better chance of being effective with that 2 pitches, being a fastball slider combination. But it's not to say that Michael Feliz can't go this offseason and figure out a new pitch, make it work, and show up at spring training and dominate as a starter.
Michael Paulino shows that he can play a little defense on the hill. Nice play for the second out.
Got that Kevin McHale type range, those long arms.
Yeah. Well, that's going back in the Wayback Machine a little bit.
Yeah.
Kevin McHale along with Larry Bird and
Dennis Johnson.
Yeah. Guess he was
Robert Parrish.
Sure, Robert Parrish, another one of the long guys in the center there. And
go down the lane and just get crushed.
As you remember, Celtics coming into Houston for might have been a playoff series. Back then, I was still playing with the Astros, and Danny Ainge coming in the clubhouse and bringing some of the boys with him. And
he's got some baseball in his background. Yeah.
Actually hooking up and playing a little golf.
Nice.
Some of the guys, yeah. It's all the same. They're all just hanging out, doing the same thing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. 2 balls and a strike. Paulino's fastball fouled off. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of the 93, 94 from Paulino tonight.
Well, I'm curious to see, because these tall guys create such a good downward plane as a hitter. It's tough to try and swing on that plane to square it up. It's not a bad breaking ball, but in a 2-strike count, it's a little more in the zone than I'm sure he would like to see it. Maybe get that put away type breaking ball or slider. We've seen Choi chase one against Brad Peacock for the strikeout.
2-2 pitch. Again fouled off. What do you think went through the mind of A.J. Hinch? Is he, I don't know if he's seen enough or any of Tyler White at second base, but he's throwing him out there and apparently a belief that he can handle himself.
I'm sure he's taking ground balls in BP, but we've seen Tyler White play some third base.
Yep. You know, if he can maintain this kind of a weight, I actually think he's got a chance to be a viable major league player. Hot shot up the middle, base hit. 2-out single for Choi. Turns it to the top now as Calhoun comes up. And I said Calhoun. Of course, the Angels have made their changes as well. Shane Robertson.
We've got bodies everywhere in this lineup.
Shane Robinson is the new right fielder. Well, they didn't put him straight up, so Cliff Pennington comes to the plate. Excuse me, it's spring training 2017 starting early.
Yeah, I think Scioscia's doing that on purpose to us.
So Pennington at the plate. And Mike Trout waiting on deck. No doubt staying in there to see if he can achieve some of his goals. Pennington right off the end of the bat. Moran comes on, throws on the run, and makes a nice play. And that'll do it for the Angels in the 6th inning. A couple of hits, they strand a pair. They lead it 7-1.
And it is time to name that Astros. It's brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here are your clues. We handed out. He had a 30 homer, 100 RBI season. Made his debut in '97. And woof. What does woof mean?
Oh.
Doggy, right?
Yeah, Dimelo Doggy.
Where did he get that name?
Hidalgo Doggy.
Doggy.
Yeah.
I get it.
He was another massive human being. Just had tremendous pop, and he could play center field.
He could run, he could throw.
Yeah.
He could hit homers too.
Yes, he could do that.
Where was he in the notes? He had a great September. Gaddis has 10 homers this month, and Hidalgo had 11. So he has a franchise record. No big deal.
Yeah. Whenever your name's in the record book, ho hum.
Woof.
Yeah,
that's one of our best clues this year, I think.
And that's all I needed.
New right-hander Jose Valdez comes on and pitches for the Angels. 6 innings from Daniel Wright tonight. 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run against him, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Needed 95 pitches to get through.
Tell you what, that's a nice finish to his season.
Ground ball left side. Good strong arm from third base. Marte makes the play, out number 1. And Jose Valdez and some of his numbers.
205 opponent batting average. Not too shabby. Just giving up a couple of those to the Houston Astros last Saturday.
4 home runs allowed in 21 in the 3rd innings. Castro 1 for 2 on his night. Solid 5th inning single. Jake Marisnick waits on deck. We're in the 7th inning, 7-1. The Angels lead it. 6 hits for each club. But the Angels have taken full advantage of their hits and the walks this evening. And one very big error. The Astros need 3 wins to get to 86 wins, the number they picked up last year. Ball on the strike on Castro. Valdez in his 2nd year in the big leagues. Came up with the Tigers, pitched in 7 games last year. Down the left field side and slicing. Going over and making a nice running play is Nick Buss. 2 down here in the inning as Marisnick comes to the plate.
Come celebrate your birthday the Astros way. Cheer on your favorite team while throwing a birthday party at Minute Maid Park. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 713-259-8996. A.J. Hinch's daughter had a birthday party celebration at the ballpark. They had a very special hostess that helped them out. They had a celebrity appearance? From one Julia Morales.
Wow. I'm the celebrity? I kept waiting to see who the celebrity was.
Oh, you know it was you.
They had the coolest idea. They did a scavenger hunt around the ballpark.
Nice.
And they got points if they took selfies in front of things just around the park.
One of those things was you, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I was one of them, but then they got more points if they held my microphone.
Wow.
They got 20 points for that. So they were running around the ballpark all night taking selfies of different features of the ballpark.
You know you've reached celebrity status when you are on a scavenger hunt list.
Yeah, I mean, I've made
That's
it
big
in
time.
life.
Oh, we had somebody come in
Congratulations.
our booth. In
yeah,
Oakland.
we were actually in Pokemon.
Well, so it was Pokemon they were after, not us.
Yeah. No, we were in Pokemon. It was us.
No, Ash was the Pokemon.
Thanks, Julia. You know what? We could have just told that story. Somebody came in our booth and was seeking celebrity. But
yeah, but we were actually part of the game. That's how involved we are.
We were actually on the bus when there was a Pokemon on there.
They are everywhere.
I can't believe that random fan walked into the booth and took a picture of a Pokemon.
Only in Oakland, too, by the way. You know, I mean, there's one elevator up, and they found it.
They said there were 12,000 people there that night, but I think there were more like 12 to maybe 15 people. Bresnick down on strikes. That's 6 strikeouts of Astros hitters, a 1-2-3-7.
Big A. And it's time to reveal the winner of our Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting and following us at Root Sports SW. We asked who is the Astros' most likely pitcher to have a breakout year in 17, and Joe Musgrove won 78%. Not even close. That's exciting things for all those guys, I think, up ahead.
Yeah, there's some good arms right there, but Astro fans, they know what they want to see. They want to see some more Joe Musgrove in that rotation.
I think Joe has a chance to do big things. I'm kind of with you on the Gustavi pick. I think that
he's one of those guys that fascinates me. I think he has a chance to do something really good.
Looking at David Paulino now, who brings a strike. We start the bottom of the 7th inning. Angels on top, and Mike Trout at the plate. 0 for 2 tonight. A couple of strikeouts. He's also walked and stolen 2 bags. In the first inning, stole second handily, then stole third on a very close play. Ball and a strike on Trout. And Trout on that slider. Won't see that many times.
Wow.
You know, even the best, when you're trying to achieve some figure, maybe that 30th home run, the 100th RBI, you try too hard. Right off the fist, ground ball to short. Marwin's there. That submarine throw that he has really perfected now for the out.
Tonight's pitching performance is powered by Kubota. A couple of my picks. Devo, he has been extremely valuable out of that bullpen. A couple starts, but it's been that bullpen for me that has made Devo that much more special. He's come in and picked up for starters who haven't done very well, eating up innings. Joe Musgrove, one of those guys that I expected will be on the scene next year and might have that breakout season next year, being in that rotation. And a guy that Ash and I were just talking about, Yandel Gustave. We are kind of fascinated by this young man's arm. He has an extremely good fastball, jumps out of that right hand, but also the power slider to be able to create strikeouts in some key situations, possibly late in games next year.
Yeah, those are good picks, and you know, it was, as we see the good curveball from Paulino, that was impressive. It was probably a month and a half ago that I was commenting about Devo and the fact that I really hope nationally he has people watching what he's doing, because he's been fantastic.
I think his numbers are going to force people to look at him, because those are great numbers.
Paulino picks up the strikeout. Another good breaking ball. That pitch looks a lot better than we first saw when we first saw him. 2 down here in the 7th inning. And it brings up the cleanup man, Jeffrey Marte.
What I think is interesting about Devo and why he should get some consideration is because even though he's pitched mostly out of the bullpen, he's still racked up quite a few innings.
Well, he's, you know, early on in the season, I kind of had the impression he was an inning eater.
Yeah.
But he's way more than that. He eats innings while keeping you in a ball game and giving you a chance to win is what he does.
That's so true.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of inning eaters through the years, and a lot of times they're not around by the middle of next year. But
yeah, those poor guys get abused.
that has not been the case with Chris Davinsky. 2 outs for Paulino. Spins Marte around.
Yeah, why not? I don't think there's any intent behind that, even though Marte's homered in this game. It's just David Paulino letting one go.
Marte with a 3rd inning solo home run. Scored a couple of runs tonight. Scored on the 5th inning double by Andrelton Simmons. 4 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 more in the 5th inning for the Angels. And the Astros lone run coming back in the 2nd. That was a 2-out run producing double by Teoscar Hernandez. Game 160. Paulino showing some good breaking stuff. Has a 2-2 count. Now look, I'm never going to know the answer to this. When you run a marathon, 26.2 miles, I mean, that's just hideous, even thinking about it. But I guess at some point you finally see the finish line. Breaking ball got him looking. Paulino keeps showing that curveball effectively. A couple of strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 7th inning. Angels lead it big, 7-1.
Tickets are on sale now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Save money and great benefits throughout the season. Visit astros.com/tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. You're looking at George Springer's girlfriend, Shar, as we call her. She's awesome. She's down here with some friends at the dugout suite, but she was right behind the on-deck circle, guys. And she looked at me and she was like, I can smell the dirt. She loves it.
Every girl's dream, right?
Right. She can hit, too. She's a former softball player. She can hit. I've seen video.
That's
maybe
awesome.
better than George.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. We now have a story as we go to the 8th inning. Brought to you by Julia Morales.
They're fun.
It is George at the plate with an 0-2 count. As he faces Valdez, pitcher number 2 on the night for the Angels. Springer 0 for 3 tonight. '29 home runs. Line drive to center field. Solid base hit for George Springer. 1 for 4 as he leads off the 8th inning. And it brings up shortstop now, Marwin Gonzalez. 2017 in that schedule that we know all about now. The Astros open at home. That's April 3rd. Make your plans. That'll have the Mariners and the Royals in for that opening homestand. And the first Texas visit comes May, the very beginning of the month, 1st through the 4th. The Yankees will come in June on up to July. Angels, Rangers, Red Sox all coming in. The Braves, Mets, Nationals from the National League East. That should be a lot of fun. Love to be able to see you at Minute Maid Park. Marwin hits it sharply to short. On to Cowart. And over to first base to Choi. And the Angels turn their second double play of the night.
And Turner Field is about to close out its lifespan in close to downtown, but they are moving ballparks. SunTrust Park going up in Atlanta.
And the Astros will get to see SunTrust next year.
In Miami. Do we get to go to the top of the world in Washington, D.C. again? That would be great.
That is officially now the top of the world?
It's got to be, right? I mean, last time we were there, we called it from the bottom of the moon.
I want to see a surveyor out and compare that one to Pittsburgh.
Oh, DC's got to be higher, doesn't it?
Might be.
I mean, DC's the one place, like our desks are usually at the edge of the booth. I mean, that's the one place I kind of like, I lean back. I'm just like, I'm not going to get too close, man. I just feel like I'm going over the edge.
Give you the feeling of doing a stand-up in Oakland?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Oh, that is not a comfortable feeling at all. We have to get.
There's a little rail about calf high in Oakland, and they would back us up to that thing, and we'd do a stand-up, and boy, I'll tell you what, you want to get some tethered ropes to hang on to.
Would you rather do stand-up in Oakland or go to the top of the Rogers Tower in Toronto?
Oh my! No, Julia's going to do that next year.
There you go.
She's already committed.
Wait a minute.
She put it in her contract, huh?
No.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Colin Moran. Don't try to wiggle your way out of this now, Julia.
I've wiggled my way out for 4 years now. What makes you think I can't do it a 5th?
Ceremonial 5th year.
No.
Edge lean at the CN Tower.
Walk. No, I'm not. Again, we've made it this far.
Let's keep Julia intact.
Here's the deal. You can bring Matt with you, and the 2 of you can do it together.
No, that doesn't help. Still too high.
Colin Moran down on strikes. Swings right through the heater from Valdez. A 1-2-3 as it turns out with the double play inning here in the 8th.
over the Astros. The Astros road ahead is presented by DeMontrond RV. And some key baseball offseason dates, those hot stove watchers out there, December 5th through the 8th, baseball winter meetings, a lot going on there, a lot of talk. 5 days after the World Series, a deadline for teams to make qualifying offers. Much like Kobe Rasmus took, 12 days after the World Series, deadline for free agents to accept qualifying offers from their teams. And then January 12th is an interesting date. After the first of the year, you get to see players who can file for arbitration. Teams will tender those guys, and I believe 3 or 4 days later they actually exchange some of those offers, and then the first 3 weeks of February entails some of the hearings if it gets that far.
To the bottom of the 8th inning, Shane Robinson stands in, hitting 175. He is in the 5 spot for the Halos, pops it up on the right side. Castro coming back and makes the catch. First out in the 8th.
Castro could be one of those arbitration guys. Dallas Keuchel might be another guy. It'd be an interesting offseason for the Houston Astros, trying to address some of the needs they feel they have to fill. Those are some interesting dates. Keeps it nice.
Of course, there's always the option, and you never know when the best time is, but say a Dallas Keuchel. Could you go in and lock him up on a multi-year deal this offseason?
It's all part of the negotiation. You can avoid all that arbitration years moving forward and kind of buy out those arbitration years until free agency and agree to not a long-term contract, but a multi-year contract. We've seen teams do that. Jose Altuve is under one right now.
A lot of times the best time to buy is low. And, you know, it's kind of one of those moments now, and you wonder how that might work out. Jet Bandy at the plate. Has singled in 3 at-bats. Off the end of the bat, little looper into center field. Coming is Jake. Dives and makes another great play.
Wow.
He has gone all Marisnik on this, and that's kind of the way you label it. Jake Marisnik, time and time again.
Give Jake a nickname because it's pretty incredible what he's doing out there. And this is just a drop shot in front of him on game 160 out of the race and just lays out to pick up his pitcher Paulino.
I love the way he sets his eyes down, just kind of stalking the prey.
He's some kind of special on defense.
2 down here in the bottom of the 8th inning. For the Astros in the 9th, it's 4-5-6 coming up. Again to center field. This will push Jake back. Easy for Marisnik, a 1-2-3 8th inning. So Paulino effective. But as we go to the 9th inning, the Astros down 7-1. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. 7-1, Angels lead over the Astros. We go to the top of the 9th inning. And Angels go to their bullpen once again as they bring in Cody E.G. Well, they get to take some swings against the left-hander. Tyler White will stand in. He's in that 4 spot. That's the one previously occupied by Carlos Correa. First plate appearance on the night for Tyler. Started to move a little early right there. Got the bat started. Month of September has been good for Tyler White. .290. A lot of that is a pinch hitter. Home run mixed in. Hits a ground ball up the middle and has himself another base hit. So he continues to impress. Leadoff single here in the 9th inning. And it brings up Tony Kemp.
We've talked about it at least for the last 4 years about being greedy, and this is definitely one of those situations late for a young ball player to go out there. These are their ABs. You need to make an impression this late in the season. Like Ash said, he's having a strong September, kind of bouncing back a little bit. Good AB getting that knock.
Got a tough at bat a few days ago with the game on the line in that Seattle series. Wound up striking out after taking a first pitch fastball. But for the good part, Tyler White's been good as we see Tony Kemp foul one down the right side. And Tony Kemp, another one of the guys on the bench who's had some really nice swings for the club. Came on as a pinch hitter on Wednesday against Seattle. Went 0 for 2 in the game. Obviously staying in after pinch hitting. As he's done a number of times, remained in left field. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cody E.G., 25 years of age. Check swing foul on the left side. Max Stassi has a bat waiting on deck. And there's Max. He's certainly impressed us with his defensive skills. Breaking ball got him. Tony Kemp down on strikes. First out here in the 9th inning. And 8 strikeouts of Astros hitters.
Pitch hitting for AJ Reed, number 12, Max Stassi.
Max Stassi stands in. Out in front on the off speed. Max is 0 for 8 since joining the club. Trying to find that first hit. It's a small world. Got out with opportunity to play golf yesterday. And
I thought you were going to talk about Disneyland.
well, you know what? We'll go to that in the 10th if the Astros can tie the game. But wound up playing golf with a young man who had grown up with Max Stassi, baseball player, guy who had aspirations to play pro ball. And you should have heard the glowing report on Max Stassi and all the things he did. And maybe that young man can be that same kind of guy. But this guy I played golf with, just thought Max Stassi was kind of the guy who was going to be the next huge star. Stassi down on strikes, so 0 for 9 now on his season. 2 outs as it brings up Teoscar Hernandez.
Could be your next star right there. He's got the right hat on.
Yeah, he's heading in the right direction, right?
Yeah, you got to get a good foundation. He's got the uni.
Couple of strikeouts for the outs. Down to an out. Teoscar Hernandez has a double and an RBI. 1 for 3 on his night. The Astros have out hit him 8-6, but trail it 7-1. Tomorrow night, it's an 8:05 start in Houston. Join us on the pregame show at 7:30. The guys do such a great job. Colin McHugh goes to the mound against left-hander Tyler Skaggs. And we're yet to be informed as to who will pitch in the Sunday game. We do have some ideas, but we'll go with TBA for the moment. That's a 2:05 start. Good swing by Teoscar Hernandez. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I think that TBA loosely translated means kitchen sink.
Yeah,
Yep, all hands on deck.
Whatever you can find that is still held together, whether by glue or whatever. Huh?
Exactly.
How long does it take at the end of the year for a guy that's played a low to be able to wind it down?
That was a good 2-week window before I quit having the urge to go somewhere at around 4 o'clock or start taking swings around 5. Tell you what, that sleep schedule, trying to get that back in shape at the end of the season, probably the worst part about it.
Gets a little messed up with all the trips, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Playing late at night. 3-2 pitch. White on the move. And ball 4. So the Astros have runners at first and second with 2 down. And now Jason Castro comes to the plate. Pandy briefly out to the mound. Castro hitting right at 210 now. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Had a 5th inning single. Tough at bat against E.G. Drop down left-hander. And a strike call. Disappointing season for the Angels, but they have lit it up here at the tail end of things. Two and 1 on Jason Castro. Angels trying to win a 4th straight, trying to make it 8 out of 9. And you can see that the look on the Astros right now. Two balls, 2 strikes. Jake Marisnick waits on deck, looking for a chance. No start tonight for Evan Gattis. 2-2. Fastball got him looking. Castro down on strikes. So that'll do it. Astros come in for the final 3, and in game 1, a costly error really hurts them. Brad Peacock takes the loss tonight as the Angels win over the Astros 7-1.